I'm here today looking through the emails and picking up some questions that I would like to respond via this live stream. It hopefully won't be very long because I'm here in the middle of nowhere, not sure how well internet will hold on. But let's get started. I hope that some of you who had asked me these questions will get your response. And the topic of today is, why do Eastern European people do not believe in therapy? Or when they come to United States, maybe you have a fiance, maybe you are dating someone and you feel you have some issues, you have some kind of circumstance and you want to go to therapy because that's what many Americans do. And she seemed to be the lady you're with. If that's the case for you, you are married, let's say, or engaged, and the lady you're with is rejecting going to. She doesn't believe in therapy. She doesn't want to go see a therapist. She wants to figure things out between both of you, and you maybe think that she is avoiding responsibility and she is not wanting to solve the issue. So I want to shed some light today why it is so, addressing mentality differences between Western American mentality and East European, Slavic, post-USSR, Ukrainian, and it's not just Ukrainian, it's more than that. So that's the topic of today. Hello, Elizabeth, I'm so glad you came. I'm so glad you came. Welcome. Welcome. I did not want to wake you up. I cannot wake up a human being. So, but I'm so glad that you are here. I don't know if I can get my glasses off. So thinking maybe it would be more personal, but it's kind of bright. Yes, I know. And I know you couldn't miss another one. So I wanted to share some thoughts as a person that is originally from Eastern Europe. Therapy in general is pretty foreign concept for us, and yeah, it's a pretty foreign concept because you come to the person you don't know, and you gotta tell them some very deep problems, some very intimate things. It feels very unnatural, number one, and it's not something most of us grew up with. Right now it's becoming somewhat popular. It's becoming somewhat popular, going to hire a coach, or go to a counselor or an advisor. But it's not unusual for us people from post USSR, with our mentality, kind of reject this idea. I think my personal opinion is that Americans do rely a little bit too much on the therapy, and what is worse, on the what comes with it, on a push. Especially my main and first point is a push for medication. This is where I do stick with my native culture, and I completely deny, for I don't know, 95% of people, the medication treatment. So for what I know, there are certain ways how your therapist may define that, oh, you need the medication. You have anxiety, you need the medication. You have depression, you need the medication. For us, we prefer to, and me personally, deal with the problem and see what can be changed, what we can resolve, what can we do about the situation, rather than knocking ourselves out with the pill. Rather, oh, look at my head. Oh Lord. Rather than counting on the pill numbing you, or giving you extra boost of serotonin or whatever that is, we are looking at solving the problem, changing the situation, maybe getting stronger for the situation, doing something, rather than we just don't believe that a pill can solve your conflict. Let's say you have a conflict with your mother-in-law, or your career, you have issues at your work, or you have very stressful environment or something like this going on, and we just don't believe that taking pills will resolve it. And the issue in the United States was a big pharma, and just some people, I would say this, some people are naturally born as therapists. I would even say, like, they have healing powers, they have soothing powers, they have mentoring abilities. They're natural mentors and teachers. I met quite a few people in my life that just naturally have that gift. And very often when you go and train, when people go and train for this, what happens is that it's almost like the system that they put therapists into ruins that natural gift. A lot of people here in America go to therapy so they have somebody to talk to, because overall we can learn small talk from America, from American culture, the art of a small talk. That's something we are all not so great at. But when it comes to a deep conversation, when it comes to undivided attention, to having those soul connection conversation, in Ukraine, when somebody invites you for a cup of tea, it means you should be prepared for a long conversation. You're gonna open your heart, you're going to talk about things. And I believe that a lot of people come to a therapist to just pour their heart, to connect, to share, to release. Yes, the therapist, the plus of the therapy, that it gives you non-disclosure. They cannot use the information against you. Where if you talk to a friend or a relative, today is a friend, tomorrow they may not be a friend, and they may spill the beans, spill your personal business, and that is very painful and can be very harmful. But again, in classic therapy, they teach therapists how to detach, how to structurize everything, how to once again lead things to the pills, how to endlessly also talk about the past. I don't find that beneficial when you endlessly go to your traumas and you justify everything that happens to you now because of your childhood, and then you almost you almost have an excuse for your every behavior. You are encouraged to be very vulnerable, to talk about your emotions, and I don't know, I've seen so many public people getting overly emotional so often on TV, giving the interviews. I think that weakens us as individuals and as society. You can't consistently being overly emotional, because all your weak spots are exposed and you become a walking target for people. So those are, there is so many things, so many aspects of it. So culturally, once again, Eastern Europeans feel that that is a very private, very intimate information, and it's hard to share that with a stranger. That, I think, is one of the main reasons that they feel that it's really difficult to share with a stranger such information, especially if you come as a couple therapy. You may have some intimate things, you may have some very, very personal things, and it's just kind of you involve the third person. But on the other hand, there are certain circumstances when it would work. If you want your lady to go with you to certain session, if you think that it may save your marriage, your relationship, you just need to really sit down with her and explain her, just maybe make her feel more comfortable with this idea. If she refusing, once again, it doesn't necessarily mean that she is not interested to work on the relationship. It often means that she's just not she had not adopted, that far into the culture, and she's just not that comfortable, but it doesn't mean that she doesn't. Most women, I would say, especially from our cultures, they would mend the relationship till they till it's unmendable anymore. So that's what mainly it is. Although I do think that once something becomes a part of a culture, you often don't question it. I think that once again the major reason here is that we did not grow up with it, and it appears just awkward and strange. And I am personally somewhere in the middle on this issue. I think it really depends on the situation. I do prefer finding a good time for a conversation and have it. And I think if you cannot have a conversation with the man you're with, or he's not changing his behavior for you, or vice versa, you got to remember that no counselor will come to you, to your house, and will do the work for you. Nobody is going to come to your place and do the work for you. A lot of people rely on counseling and on therapists kind of out of laziness. They kind of hoping they would shift guilt on the other person, and the other person is the one that needs to do the work. But unfortunately, people often don't realize that being in love is a feeling, and it's the most incredible feeling on this planet Earth. But actually, love, it's a verb, and it requires effort. It requires effort. On the other hand, when people want to be together, when they value each other, they will find ways to communicate. Because when you meet that person, right? Did you need a counselor or did you need a therapist to make communication between you? Like, when we meet someone wonderful, someone special, when we make a friend, or you meet your mate, your match, you find a way to communicate. You find that way, right? You don't call anybody to mediate between you because you want to. A lot of times people are not ready to admit that their relationship is dead, then there is nothing left, that they are embarrassed, to tell their family. They cannot stand each other, and they go to years and years of therapy, and they live in the same misery. So that is something that I had observed here in the United States. I believe there are, like, what do they say? Different strokes for different folks. So, yes. So, to wrap up a few things that I just said, we do believe in working out, we as a culture, we do believe in working out, like, in an intimate atmosphere. For us, by the way, it is for our women. I will speak more from a woman perspective. For us, it's really important to have that designated time, to have that space, to have some soft light, hot tea, soft light, candles. Sometimes it doesn't have to be necessarily romantic in this case, but a lot of times men make mistakes with, if you want to talk about something or address, you're doing something else. You're watching TV, or you're on the way somewhere, or she's on the way somewhere. It's very important to find that intimate place where you can sit down, and even if you're not too happy with each other, or you're not too satisfied, where you can just have a moment for yourself, and you can open up and share what is that needs to be changed. The major problem I find with American men is that American men very often avoid to share what the issue is. It's like, I don't know if that's a cultural thing that you're afraid to be so direct. I believe our people are a lot more direct, and we are a lot more straightforward. So it's easier to say things, because when you don't say, when you don't express it, you don't express it once, you don't express it twice, you don't express it for the third time, and then before you know it, you build so much resentment that at this point, no amount of counseling, no amount of warm words, no amount of anything else will help, because the snowball is so huge, and it's no longer, it doesn't even matter. You have so much, you're in so much pain that it doesn't even matter anymore. So I think that is a issue. And some of my clients who have been asking me in the email, what is the deal without a lady not wanting to do counseling? I believe some of them are really those who at time after time do not address things they do not agree with, and then they want to talk about it through the counselor. But if you are planning to be with this woman, if you're planning to continue sharing life with her, if she's refusing to go to the counselor, for example. By the way, usually it's men who are refusing talking about relationships or working on relationships, but it depends. It depends. Women are usually those who are watching different videos, going to different seminars and doing all that, because we are natural communicators, and we want to learn how to be better at it. But yet it's not a competition. It's not a competition between us. It's about how we can understand each other. And if she's not comfortable, you should be able to talk and just address one issue at a time. It's really hard to reject someone who is gentle with you, who understand that they don't even know you that well, because we come together, especially when you come together at an adult age. We have our history, our baggage, we have so many things, but we also have appreciation for authenticity and for the other person being genuine. So the person who wants to work things out, if one way doesn't work, they will agree for another way. The person who does not want to work things out or think it's not worth it will not simply do anything. Thank you so much, guys, for your comments on the topic. Thank you. Hello, Charles. Thank you so much for the kind words. Roger is saying, be careful about the therapist you choose. In a peculiar way, going to a therapist is paying for a type of intimacy that may not be available any other way. Yes, I also think if there is no other way, you have nobody else, or that is your cup of tea, you gotta do what works for you. Absolutely. For me personally, being from where I'm at, no therapist can give me the kind of intimacy, so to speak, that I experience with either with a special person or with a special friend, because the way we talk, the way we romanticize things, and the way sometimes we don't even have to talk, we can just understand things with eyes, like the way we were learned to connect. No person that do not know us can give that to us. That is a cultural difference, I think, right there. But you may be in a situation where, like Roger just said, you are your therapist, the person that is there for you, it's really your only option, because you can't talk to your family members, you don't have close relationship with anybody. Some people in your family may have betrayed you or disclosed your personal information. So yes, I understand that. I do understand that, but the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys is that you understand the other side of the coin, why it is so difficult for us to do this. You know, for us, as right now I'm you know, representing the Eastern European, you know, Ukrainian Slavic culture. Oh, okay, it's getting really warm. I'm afraid if I'll put my car on, my sound will disappear again. Oh, you know, I think it connects through the Bluetooth, and that's what happened last time. So I want to thank you for the emails. I'm going slowly. I'll make like short clips and lives to just catch up on some of that. Okay, you know, let me put my car on. Hopefully, guys, please let me know if my sound stays on, because I cannot stay for too much longer. But each time I say that, it's like for at least an hour. Okay, okay, switch off. I need some air conditioner. Yes. Let me read a few more of your comments. Thank God for air conditioner. And thank God that there is summer in Michigan at this at some point. It's actually quite nice. It's not that hot, but it's no complaints here. Yeah, let me read. B, hello B. Hello, I agree that a therapist cannot disclose any information. Sometimes friends are too close to situation and to be unbiased. If need specific help, therapist may be needed. Yes, I think, you know, to organize things, to structure things. But, you know, on the other hand, if you're an educated person, you can be your own therapist. You know, you can take a journal, and you, if you have, I understand not everybody have that ability. That is one of my best friends right there. Never spills a thing, never judges, but ready there to structurize and organize thoughts and things. Yes, I think now we are becoming lazy in the digital world to write, but that is another alternative, is to write things down and structurize them, if that is something hard for you to do, you know, in a situation. Yes, therapists can help to organize things in your head, but on the other hand, if you have if you are interested in human behavior and psychology, maybe you studied things, you actually will be able to do that as well. You know, let's say the therapist is not available, and what worries me sometimes about the American style therapy, that maybe, please correct me if I'm wrong, but sometimes I feel that they are trying to make you come into many sessions, and then it ends up in the medication. I think the most talented therapist would give you the tools, whether it's a therapist, or I'm going to talk about coaching for just a few minutes also. I think that a good therapist, counselor, coach give you the tools, that yes, if you don't have that education or that natural ability, they give you the tools, and you can access those tools in any situation, no matter where you are, and you can focus on these things, and you can make order in your head, and you can live a happier life. You can navigate, because every time you are dependent on something, such as pills, for example, you lose your own discernment, you lose your own judgment of the situation. You don't use your power, you use kind of like a crutch, and then you becoming addicted to that substance or to that person even. So I think the powerful coach, powerful teacher, advisor, counselor, or therapist should give you those tools that help you restructurize. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Somebody sent me a super chat. Thank you B. You are so kind. Thank you for the very generous super chat. And let me read your message. I am so happy for your wisdom and inspiration. You speak the truth and are direct. Thank you. My coat is wonderful this winter. Oh, do you follow me for my furs on my Instagram? I'm going to share my information because I do different things, and I know some of you guys only follow me on Instagram, and some of you only follow me here. I do have an Instagram page where I'll be talking about this kind of subjects as well. It's called Ukrainian Perspective. Just having an Instagram, so maybe I can go live with a guest here and there. But regardless, I know a lot of you are here and you prefer to watch here, so thank you. Um, it sounds like you're in fur as well because you mentioned that. Thank you so much for stopping, and uh, you're also saying that what I should do is journal. Thank you for reminder. I went to a therapist for 6 visits and left with tools, books, and set free. Terry. Oh, Terry, is it the one I know from, is it my friend from Washington? Is it you, lovely? Because you changing your name so often. Please respond me if you can. Okay, now I'm getting frozen. Let me see, I'm gonna switch it off. Oh, how wonderful. Thank you so much for stopping by. I'm so glad to see you, Terry. It's so wonderful. You are such a sweetheart. Thank you. And yes, you know, we are sometimes, I have to admit, journaling is sometimes difficult because, you know, you need to put your time, you need to have your space, you need to take a pen. You know, a lot of us are typing. I personally recommend you know, writing over typing because there is more connection, um more heart and soul. So I don't know, heart and soul, you know, heart and mind connection when you write, because you know, you write, I just feel it's more personal when you do it. But if you need to type, sometimes also when if you're exhausted and you can't write, you can have you know, I have that app that is a just a memo app, or maybe you have another one where you can just share things, you can just talk. It's better to write, but it's almost like you imagine you're talking to a friend. And sometimes we need to all pray very often for our best friends, because they hear all kind of crap from us and they don't get paid. And in this case, you're talking to a voice machine, you dumping everything is on your head without filter, and then you can erase it. But you are not just chewing it in your mind, right? But you are expressing it. And then maybe when you feel more rested, you can write it down and structure it. I really think it's important to spend that time with yourself. A lot of, you know, one thing also that I noticed, that there is a major avoidance in spending time with your own self. You know, most people nowadays, when they have time to just like enjoy, I'm at a beautiful nature spot right now, and I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna enjoy it, you know, without the phone, without distraction, without thinking about problems, just kind of being it. And a lot of times nowadays, you know, we have social media, we have devices, some people still watch TV. And so it's like, if we have a moment, you know, maybe, you know, your relatives are somewhere, your family is not home, and you can have a moment for yourself, and you can just cuddle up with a cup of tea and journal. 9 out of 10 you will spend that time scrolling something, doing something to distract yourself, because it's very scary sometimes to be left alone with your thoughts and with your pain, because it's scary. But it's also not that bad. It's what I'm saying, it's actually not that bad. Once you start, it's not that bad. Meaning, once you start, you realize that it was worth it to overcome the initial you know, the initial avoidance of it. And I can relate to this. But sometimes you need to fall in love to be by yourself for a moment, so you can ask yourself some questions and structurize things in your head. Because another thing, have you ever had a friend that each time they have some difficult circumstance, you're the person that they would call, and they not only call, but they consistently, when they go through hard times, they just dump things on you? You know, I decided I'm retiring from being this friend. And if somebody is serious about the problem with it is that you will pour your heart, mind, and soul. You will abandon your own family dinner. You will give them all the keys, everything, because it's your dear friend. They'll listen to you and do nothing of what you had suggested. So in this case, yes, have a link to your PayPal and say, hey, if maybe you're doing some kind of coaching or mentoring. A lot of times when somebody knows you're doing this kind of service, your friends and your family will take advantage. Like, for example, I have been doing coaching lessons for Ukrainian dating and communication, and some of the people that know me, they just know me from different ways. They just felt like they entitled to the time and entitled to my outlook, or how to say this, on my outlook on the situation, which it's a whole another question of boundaries. But yes, the problem here is that you can crawl out of your skin trying to help someone, and you will always feel bankrupt, because people who abuse your generosity with your time, with your knowledge and your wisdom, who do not give you anything back, they're not gonna also move a finger to change anything, and you will find yourself wrapped in this. So in this situation, yes, you can suggest them that these kind of people do need a counselor, because if somebody consistently disrupt your peace, that is so important. And yes, I tell you honestly, I do not miss those friendships that only work one way, or worked one way. Oh, thank you so much. Oh gosh, thanks so much. Thanks for the member super chat. Thank you guys, for those of you who are still members on the channel after such a long break. Thank you Nero. I don't know, here member called Bronze Warrior, a long time follower. And writing is a creative I'm sorry, it disappears. Writing is a creative release to help our minds to stay balanced and healthy. When we go back in time to read them, they tell how far we had become. Yes, writing is really a great way to track our progress. And sometimes when you are in a challenging relationship, when you going through ups and downs, maybe you are in a relationship with a person that is gives you hot and cold, or have some narcissistic tendencies, or maybe you are the one that is trying to work on yourself. When you write things down, your observations and how you feel, you can really track. Because very often when someone in some kind of abusive relationships, what happens, those people who are really good at narcissistic abuse, they give you different treatments, and sometimes they're being really nice, so you forget how much you suffered. They try to keep you in that relationship because you maybe give them some benefits. And when you are loving, when you 100% open-hearted with someone, when you think that is your person, and when you're very generous in your heart and your mind and soul, you let things go. Like, for example, I'm one of those people that are very passionate, and I can be very angry about something, and but once if we solved it right away, all that fire, all that explosion, it's gone. And it's like, I can't even remember. I hate when people say, you know, remember you did this or did that. No, I don't. Because, you know, you may have that emotion, that passion in the moment, or anger or something like this, but you love the person and you just want to move on. It's when something is continuously, when you're continuously misunderstood, when you continuously you know, you just maybe not a match, or you don't understand each other, then that is a problem. Then you can't just forget about it, because even if you let things go easily, but if you could recover after one time, two times of light conflict, but if it's consistent, it's very hard to recover. And something about women who have confidence and who becoming more mature is that after some point, if you did the work, you are not going to tolerate things that take you out of your alignment, that make you upset, that set you up for days of recovery. And I think healthy mature men are probably following the same policy. So very individual. It's a very individual approach here. I'm gonna read a few more comments, guys, before I go. Thank you so much, and thank you so much again. Thank you, Stan, for the super chat. Appreciate it. Thank you for being a member. You can become a member of this channel, and as I'm getting my way back to it, some of the live videos will be saved there. You know, some of these things will be saved there. It's kind of a little bit behind the scenes, or maybe you know, some of the information that I don't want to fly too openly across the internet. So that is what it's for. Also, when you have enough of members, you can do live streams just for your members. That is nice too. So let me but Terry, it's so wonderful to see you. You know, I was wondering about you. I was wondering how you're doing. So glad to see you. Thank you for stopping by, and I'm glad give you a little reminder of how many tools we really have. I'm sure you had done that before, but sometimes you know, things just you just forget that, oh my gosh, there is this other item that I could, or other tool that I could use. I wanted to ask you about videos that came out in the past months about students attacking teachers. I know a while back you made a video about students should yell, that teachers should not yell at students. Kids are so out of control nowadays that so many teachers are quitting because there is no more real punishment. What are your thoughts on that? Oh my gosh, that's a separate discussion, but that video was a particular one. It was about just one student who actually got who I wouldn't say got attacked, but whose teacher was very rude and was embarrassing him in front of the class. But that situation, I don't know if I ever make a continuation. It's actually was very personal because I have a certain relationship to that student. But that issue was solved, and the teacher actually admitted their fault, because I know what you mean, and I'm gonna address that as well. But in that case, the teacher crossed the line and was disrespectful. Use of words that teacher should not allow themselves to use. Any professional should not allow that kind of behavior. But to reflect on the discipline, I absolutely agree that discipline is a major factor. That it's a major issue right now in public schools, and I think there should be more discipline, but discipline should come with dignity, with grace, with consequences, but not with using foul language and embarrassing kids in front of each other. Those difficult kids that have issues, major issues with behavior, they should try to go to specialized school. That is my opinion. I know how difficult it is to be a teacher. My excuse me guys, my main issue with teachers, it's really hard to judge in general because some of them work extremely hard. Many of them actually work extremely hard. They are dedicated. They really making they're really heroes because they deal with all of this mess. But a lot of them have such wrong values for the kids. They do not represent the good values. Their own life is a mess, and they come and they put the kids down to feel better about their life. I see that a lot too. You know, there are certain teachers that couldn't find any other job and they live in their mom's basement. But not, you know, everybody can be down sometimes, but they also don't represent. I believe if you're a teacher, you need to represent. You need to, on the inside, on the outside. You don't come to the class like you just woke up in your PJs. You know, I do not appreciate the oh my gosh, don't even get me. The video is coming out about the whole pride thing, the whole indoctrination. I don't like when teachers trying to indoctrinate our children and get them in this extra liberal view that children should be able to form their own opinions about the world, about the values. I don't like that. So a lot of teachers are they kind of people that went to teaching once again because they didn't have anything else, and they want to feel that power, and they literally force our children to believe into stuff that they believe in. So that is difficult. But on the other hand, do especially American kids have issues with the discipline? Absolutely yes. And I absolutely think once again that they should be disciplined. They maybe need to be suspended. They maybe need to go to principal office. They need to have consequences for their behavior. But I do not believe that they should be yelled at, or that foul language should be used in school, because as a teacher you set the standard. If you cannot handle your emotions, your own emotions, how do you suppose manage children? If as a parent, you know, when as a parent we lose it and we yell, this is not our child's problem, it's our problems that we cannot regulate ourselves before we manage our child. And I know it's very difficult, and I know we all have many fails, but the teacher should be ready to admit when he or she became unprofessional. You know, when you know you are right now unprofessional, you slipped it, you should have the decency to apologize. And in this case, the situation was mended and it was worked out. So that could be another video for all that's going on. Another video conversation, but I hope I answered your question. So it's really, you know, there are kids who are absolute jerks. I really think they should, I don't even know, they need to work with it's very complicated. My best advice would be for parents to bring their kids to martial arts when they learn discipline, when they learn respect, when they learn how to say sir instead of dude or bro or whatever else, and F and S bombs are out of their vocabulary. Yes, they definitely need that. So I answered, I hope. In Washington State, students that are out of control are given the choice to go to alternative school to get diploma. Yeah, Terry, we had a high school, we had a alternative high school here in the United States here in Michigan too. And I think it's a great option, I guess, because at this point, at least they will, they'll get the diploma. They will try to make something out of themselves. At least they also may be working with people who will find approach. The person I was very close to was a alternative high school teacher. And most of what he did wasn't the history or math, or it was talking to those kids. Most of what he did was talking to those kids, just talking to them. They would open up about what they're going through. There were some suicidal things that were prevented just because the teacher in this case, again, somebody I knew very close, saw that something was wrong with that student. I think they would be a lot less of need an alternative school if we would pay more personal attention to our children as parents and also teachers. Instead of spending hours for this agenda on on LGBTQ whatever. If we would listen to, just spend time with them. One thing I could never understand, the part of American culture is connecting near the TV, like watching news or watching some programs. And for me, you can't connect. You can entertain yourself near the TV or movie, but connecting near the TV, it doesn't make any sense to me personally. So yeah, I think if you have those kids who are struggling with regular school, sometimes it could be very talented kids too. They just don't match the narrative, the structure. I'll be honest with you, I was very unhappy in school. It was not for me. On the outside, I was most of the time a decent student, but I didn't like the structure of it. It's a jail, it's a prison. On the other hand, you learn some good things as well. You learn how to get around. You learn how to start things and finish things. You learn how to deal with the people you don't like, because you will be like in those situations. You learn how to deal with people who take advantage of their position. So it all has many layers. But what bothers me right now in public schools, that if your opinion differs and you do not agree with the agenda, you're the enemy. I'm really concerned about America losing completely the traditional beautiful values that it was built on. Not that everyone's life is perfect and everyone's life should be like like this perfect book, but at least we need to strive for the better quality of relationships, of communication, and things we are doing. Cheers to that. I think it's cooling off a little bit, and oh my gosh, as always. Hello, Vince. OMG, Veronica, where have you been? I miss seeing your videos so much, long time. Yes, I took a long leave, but I'm back. I think in school it called leave of absence. So, my dear friends, thank you so much for joining. Once again, this live stream was supposed to be about the reasons why in Eastern European culture people are not as open to the therapy. But by no means we're saying that it's bad, but it's really truly depends on the person's mindset, on their very specific needs. and special, their specific emotional needs. Because as I think Roger said, yes, sometimes I feel in the professional world, very often you don't have, you really may not have somebody that you can really share what you're going through, to get structure, to get it structurized, and to see what can be done. Okay, my last point is actually about something that became more popular now, and that is coaching. When it's less about going your past, it's more about focusing on what you have right now. What is it that you got, and what is it that you want, and how you can get from here to there. For example, that's one of the things that you can do. Personally, I have big passion for that, because I think right now we are going a bit too far with being vulnerable everywhere. All these people, all these men crying on TV. I think it's okay to be vulnerable once in a blue moon on public, but it's better to be strong on public so other people can look and get inspired. We need strength right now with everything that's going on. This is just my very subjective opinion, especially for men. I think we all have our private space where we can get as vulnerable as you want. I believe in releasing emotions, once again, journaling, doing your thing, but when you come and you take it on others, so you making a scene, too often, it just, I don't know, it just not good. Not good. That's so another thing that I feel like often therapy justify all your emotions, and you just, walking around, and everybody should understand, but you don't know what the other person is going through. Avoid those people who are dumping things on you. There are certain people in our lives that feel entitled to just dump all kinds of things at you with no benefit for you, and then wait till you need something. See how that's gonna go. So I would say discernment and just knowing what works for you. Some people feel really good when they can talk about their past. Maybe they do need therapy if they want to analyze every single thing from their past. Some people already processed it, analyzed it, put it to peace. Some people use natural pain defense mechanism, but they also want to focus on the future. They want to focus on the present and on the future. So when you know that something is right for you, your heart just responds to it. You just feel, release of the dopamine when you're doing something right. Either that's a person you're talking to, or you're journaling, or just taking time off, switching off your phone. You have the release of dopamine, and you have the joy. You're doing something right. Guys, am I talking to myself? Is my connection still here? Please let me know, and we're going to wrap it up. It's, as always, almost an hour, but I'm coming to these lives. I'm gonna be trying to address some of the emails, and maybe come up with some topics based on current events, based on what's going on. And it's so difficult for me to do the lives, because it's been almost 4 or 5 months. It's almost feel it's I'm overcoming that inner resistance, but it has to start over. And I really appreciate, guys, that you are still checking, and still want to be on this channel. I'm looking forward to diversify the topics. Yes, thank you, Elizabeth. Oh my gosh, thank you. Thank you, David. David, thank you so much for the Cash App. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yes, I am back again. Okay, let's see. Well. That's how we should be talking to begin with. Now it all makes more sense. Oh my gosh, it still was sunny today, so yes, I burn. So this is a must accessory. Thank you guys. Hey Gregory, good to see you. I'm just about to wrap it up. Oh, by the way, guys, actually, ladies, if you're listening to me, I got a lot of emails asking for me to open a women's channel when I'm gonna be talking about, you know, feminine things, and I'm working on it right now. Yes, I'm gonna use some of the, you know, materials from the Femininity in First, my Instagram page. So yes, reach out to me and I will give you the heads up on that, because I really would like to do that as well. So guys, thank you so much. I'm gonna go take care of my mental health as well. I actually was planning, I'm at a beautiful place at a beautiful lake, and I was planning to take you guys with me for a walk as we speak, but the wind, you would not be able to hear me, guys. So I want to wish you a wonderful rest of the night. Thanks so much for the support. Thanks for coming out. And yes, different folks for different strokes, you know, whatever leads you to feeling of peace, to feeling of progress, to feeling of inspiration, satisfaction. Don't save on that. Whether it's time, whether it's some resources, don't save on that, because without feeling well, feeling that at least you are improving and you're getting closer, none of this makes sense. None of this is joyful. You may have a lot of things, but if your heart is in the wrong place, you can't enjoy it. And remember that you have the right to, you know, release your stress, solve your issues, you know, with your partner, with your loved one. You don't owe the explanation, but to everyone, just to somebody that is meaningful for you. When you have a meaningful person in your life, you would be respectful, and you would give them, share your heart with them. But you don't need to give explanation to the world why you choose one thing or another. If it works, then let it be. Right? With that being said, my dear friends, I will see you very soon. Thanks so much for stopping by, and I'm looking forward to do more lessons with you. Thank you.